Is Disney dead? Seriously, is Disney just fully just dying out and it's become a complete joke? Hey guys, welcome to another video, and I'm going to be talking all about Disney and is Disney slowly dying? And obviously Disney is one of probably the biggest film corporations in the entire world. They've bought in so many properties and licenses, and they have their own streaming service. Disney is just the studio everyone thinks about. Come on, they have Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, and of course Disney itself. Shit, they even bought fucking Fox out. Disney is just almost ruling the world. However, over the recent years, people have just turned against Disney. They've really turned against them, and it's for a lot of reasons. I'm not gonna go into all of them, but there are a lot of things Disney has said in the public eye that people just don't really like. Disney's also alienated a lot of people, and especially some peoples in certain demographics and certain belief structures, of course. But Disney's also just haven't made the good quality of films like they used to. Like back in the day, in the early 2000s, late 2000s, of the Pixar films, or the Disney Renaissance, or even the great live action classics in the 60s and the 70s and stuff. Or these classics that we never knew would have been classics, like Narnia and Parts of the Caribbean. And making sports movies like Cool Runnings and the Mighty Ducks. They made some of the most oddest, weirdest choices for films, but they worked. And they've been a part of all of our childhoods. And something's different now. And I feel like a reckoning is happening slowly for Disney. Because we've seen it over the past couple of years now, that their movies are bombing. They get some hits. I'm not saying all their movies are doing shit or anything. They've had some pretty good hits. Some of their Marvel films have been, they do very well. And Avatar, The Way of Water, did very well. Spider-Man No Way Home did very, very well. I'm just saying, their streaming service was a fantastic idea. It was a great idea to, see the whole Disney catalog of a lot of films that we can't watch. And they're creating new television shows, so it's a perfect platform for people to subscribe to. And also has a pretty good price. Better price than Amazon Prime and HBO and Netflix. But the subscriptions have gone pretty down. A lot of people, when it first was announced, Disney Plus, for the first year of Disney Plus, it was amazing. What a hit. Huge hit. And because it's for kids and adults. Adults can watch the films they grew up with, and kids can watch all the new stuff. But now the subscriptions have gone way down, and they're not getting more subscriptions. People subscribe so many times. So many subscriptions happen in the first year, but now they're just going down instead of going up, because people are not caring now. They're like, why am I wasting money on this shit? And there's a lot of people who bought Disney Plus for fucking Mandalorian, and Mandalorian has now gone down the shit. It's just all the stuff that we loved about Disney. Disney's almost ran it into the ground. Star Wars. Star Wars was just something beautiful and magical for so many people. And even when the prequels came out, this was way before Disney owned them. They were hated, of course, the prequels, but it never took their love away from Star Wars. A lot of people hated the prequels. Shit, there was a time I didn't really like the prequels. But because now Disney has made their Star Wars stuff, I actually appreciate the prequels now. But even when people didn't like the prequels, it never took their it never took their love away from of Star Wars. People still love Star Wars. But then when Disney bought it, in the beginning, when Force Awakens came out, I'm like, oh, okay, Rogue One, Force Awakens. But then after movie and show after show, it gave people fatigue of Star Wars, and it's something no Star Wars fan thought they would ever have is fatigue for Star Wars. But because Disney's all about profit and money, they just kept pumping out movies, and they were really bad, and shows that some were really good hits, but some were just crap. And just, what are they doing? And they're destroying characters from our past. Like, God, the fucking movies did it. Now the shows are doing it. And people are just not caring now. Like, even season 3 of The Mandalorian, like, people were just like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm still hoping for Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka. I'm still hoping that's a good show. But just the ratings on their shows have just gone so down. The viewership is so freaking down because people have just lost interest in Star Wars. They don't want to see anything from Star Wars almost ever again now because Disney has ran it into the ground. Disney has just made so much crap, and just people are like getting tired of it because Star Wars was like a very special thing that came out every now and then. But now it's just everywhere. We get a bunch of shows, a bunch of movies every year, and it's not special anymore. And just people don't care anymore. I know, obviously, there are people who still care, who still love Disney, still love everything Star Wars related, which is fine. But I'm just talking about a vast majority of people are just tired of Star Wars. And that's all because of Disney. Even the Marvel films. The Marvel films were doing very, very well when Paramount had it going. Like, people were loving it, and even when Disney bought it out, they were still doing very, very well. But then after Endgame, man, no one is. People are losing interest. People were just like, because the Marvel films were so like huge and so like everywhere, and they were the big blockbuster, the big movie that was making all the money. Every movie wanted to be like the Marvel films, with the comedy and the action and the fucking 5 scenes at the end credits and stuff. Every movie wanted to be like the Marvel films, and now people are so sick of the Marvel films, no movies want to be like the Marvel films. It's just, I don't know, like after Endgame, just the movies have not made a lot of money. Like, I know we had a pandemic, but still, like, and even the shows, like, the ratings for the shows, and I'm not talking about, like, the Rotten Tomatoes scores, I'm just talking about the viewership ratings for the shows. They get less and less as each show comes out. Like, for fuck's sakes, like, barely anybody watched the Miss Marvel show. No one cares. Nobody cares. Look at even the trailer for the Marvels that's coming out this year. The dislikes on that trailer, because no one gives a fuck about the Marvels. No one gives a shit. Look at Secret Invasion. Nobody's watching it. The ratings for that is awful. And then the people who did watch it, they're like, wow, this is a really boring ass show. So, like, even Marvel's now turning into Star Wars. It was a special thing that now is just kind of getting old and played out. And even Disney's own films that Disney created, they've ruined that into the ground because of these stupid ass remakes. Like, all of our childhood favorites and classics like Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and The Lion King and Peter Pan and The Little Mermaid and all of these great films that we all grew up with and loved, they're being remade in these soulless, shot-for-shot, ugly, bloated CGI mess of films. And they're ridiculous. And the fact that there are people out there that still think these are amazing, and they're like, no, this is how you do these movies. I'm like, no. They're terrible. They're bad. And now they're bombing in the box office now. And when they get put to Disney Plus, nobody fucking watches them. Because why would they when they can watch the classics? If you can't remake it better, why remake it at all? And like, the remakes are just the same freaking movies. Literally the same movies. Why are you even remaking it? You know why. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Y'all know why. And just, Disney is ruined itself. Like, all the movies that Disney created, they're destroying all their classics and all the great films. Like, even Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is one of my favorite films of all time. They made a sequel to it that's almost basically a shot-for-shot remake instead of a sequel. Like, what are you doing? Beauty and the Beast is one of their best animated films of all time. God, that remake made me just question my humanity and question if Beauty and the Beast was even a good film to begin with. That's how bad that movie was. That's how bad it was. And just, it's ridiculous. And look at this. Looking for this year. Like, look at this. They did Elemental, which was an actual original film, bombed in the box office. Look at Turning Red. That came out, was it last year? Like, it did terrible on Disney Plus. No one cared. No one watched it. Like, nobody wants to watch these movies. And looking down the Indiana Jones movie that they were making, that's also Disney. Terrible. Just terrible. They're trying to bank off nostalgia from the past, but making it more modern. And that's just a really bad idea. That's a recipe waiting to just explode in our faces. Or Disney's faces. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I still have my subscription to Disney Plus because I like to watch shows that are, Disney made a long time ago, or stuff that isn't at all Disney. Like, I watch Boy Meets World on there. I watch Simpsons and Family Guy on there because it's Fox. And I watch Fox movies because they're on Disney Plus. But any of the new content they make, I don't really watch, or I watch just to review. I watched White Man Can't Jump, which was Disney Plus exclusive. What a piece of shit. I thought Disney Plus would go down the shitter because they're making just bad movies, but it's really showing now because they're not making much of a profit now. Their movies are bombing really badly. Like, look at last year, Top Gun Maverick was the movie everyone was talking about. Not a Disney movie, Top Gun Maverick. This year, it's Spider-Man, a Sony movie. Not a Disney movie, a Sony movie. And I feel like people are just sick of Disney now. They're sick of it. Fucking sick of it. And I understand, because Disney was a special thing. And Disney will always actually have a special place in my heart because the childhood movies I watched and the shows I watched are still great. There's nothing wrong with them, even though Disney has tried their best to destroy them. Look what they did to the Proud Family, for fuck's sakes. But, I made a whole video on that. But even though Disney is trying to kill its past, and its past is what made it so good, people are just annoyed. And people will still remember Disney was once an amazing company that made amazing films and shows. But now, they're a soulless cash grab that don't give a fuck about anybody. They care about the money. They care about trying to bank and manipulate you through your nostalgia. And it's really showing now. Their movies are bombing. They're losing money. And I think they're in a panic. Are they slowly dying out? Who knows? Only time will tell. But I really think if they don't shape up and start making some quality films and making some real money and actually giving a shit about their fans, I think they're going to just fade into obscurity in the next decade or so. But what do you guys think? Thank you guys for watching. Take care.